My name is Grant Howitt, and this is Hollows. Hollows is a monster hunting tabletop role-playing game with the best tactical combat system you've ever seen. You play as hunters. You invade other people's personal hells and murder their inner demons. You've got the seed of one of these hells inside of you, but you've also got weapons. Pistols and shotguns, swords and spears, books and armor. Your chosen weapons define how your character fights, and you'll need to master them and combine their abilities in creative ways to overcome the nightmares you face. So, gather your allies and slice through the fabric between worlds to dive into hell. Explore the ghost stories, allegorical landscapes, and tragic histories that await you. Hunt down the Lord at its heart and lay them to rest with blade and bullet, to put an end to their cancerous pocket dimensions for good. Whether you're sneaking through a trap-filled warehouse, outrunning a wall of screaming fire, or trying to hit a towering entity, the core mechanic of Hollows is the same. You roll a single d20 and try to roll under one of your stats. Strong, hard, quick, sharp, or wise. If you roll under your stat, you succeed, and if you roll the exact same number as your stat, you get a critical success. However, if you roll over your stat, you fail. In practice, this means that the higher your stat, the more likely you are to succeed, but even with a low stat, there's always a chance at success and failure. The GM will also give you a specific target number to aim for, representing the difficulty of what you're trying to achieve. In combat, this is normally one of the entity's 3 defenses: close, ranged, or weird. If your successful roll lands in the sweet spot under your stat and matching or beating the target number, you gain a superior success. Superior successes are not quite as powerful as a critical success, but they are much easier to land and often trigger special effects from your abilities. As you increase your stats, or use clever tricks and tactics to lower the target number or roll more dice, you increase the range and frequency of your superior successes, turning the odds in your favour. That's the core mechanic for Hollows. Let's talk about what an average game looks like. Gameplay in Hollows is divided into 3 main phases: exploration, combat, and recovery. Exploration in Hollows is your classic theatre of the mind role-playing game. You delve into this strange otherworld to uncover the story of the Lord that sits at the heart of the Hollow. You're exploring and you're role-playing with your party. You're getting to understand what's happened and you're finding relics that are going to help you out, deciding whether to pick up new abilities and draw attention to yourself, or to rush to the final boss and kill it quick, and deciding whether to defeat the Lord or to try and save them from their torment. Saving them, of course, is significantly more difficult. When you encounter a monster, the whole game flips over to become a 1 versus many adversarial tactical game. Each Hollows fight is designed to take around 60 to 90 minutes, so you can have a few in a session. We use this targeting grid, which puts the monster, the entity, at the centre, because what matters most is where you all are in relation to the monster, not where it is in relation to everything else. It's similar to lock-on targeting, found in many video games, recreated on the tabletop. Each hunter has 2 weapons, and they give access to a bunch of different abilities. Some weapons like the knife let you be quick and high damaging, encouraging you to move around the grid to get the jump on the enemy. Weapons like the armor are slow and soak damage to let you tank. Other weapons, like the book, get a bit more complex and interact with the monster or the environment in advanced ways. Choose your weapons wisely and combine their abilities to create unique combos for yourself and your fellow hunters. A round of combat in Hollows is quick fire and the state of the game changes constantly. On your turn, you can take 2 actions: an attack and a maneuver, or 2 maneuvers if you're trying to get yourself set up for something clever. Maneuvers cover anything that's not an attack, like aiming, taking cover, moving across the grid, reloading your weapons, or catching your breath and recovering. Attacks use one of your 2 weapons, As mentioned before, you'll be using the core mechanic to roll a d20 and try to beat the entity's defense and get as close as possible to your stat without going over. The weapons you use define what stat you attack with, which zones you can attack from, and which of the entity's defenses you target. An entity like the Hound has a very high range defense of 12, but a close defense of 9, meaning that it has a much easier time dodging your ranged attacks. You'll need to get in close, or find another way to lower its defense if you want to deal more than glancing blows. Each fight is designed to get you thinking about clever combos between not just your own abilities, but also throughout the whole party. Those combos build over time too. Each fight you win, you get to pick a new ability to add to your sheet, but most are temporary till the end of the hollow. At the end of that adventure, you can pick one of the abilities you've unlocked and make it permanent. It sticks around even if you change weapons later on, meaning you can make your own powerful builds over time. But enough about players. Let's talk about those monsters, and why GMing Hollows is about as much fun as playing it. Every entity has all the mechanical pieces you'd expect. They all have defenses, attacks and maneuvers, they all have health, and so on. Each of these are unique and offer tactical challenges for your player to overcome. But that's only the beginning of what makes GMing Hollows monsters special. Firstly, you get to play with threat. Threat represents the entity's attention and intent, and you place it on the grid at the end of your turn and whenever a player lands a hit on you. You spend it in one of two ways, either to enhance your attacks, or to make actions when it's not your turn, called interrupts. Every entity has unique interrupts, and they all shake up the fight in unexpected ways. It's a bit like aggro or telegraphed attacks you'd find in video games. You can either save it to build the tension as you power up a big attack, or spend it to counter your players' attacks just when they're starting to feel too confident. Speaking of overconfidence, during the exploration phase, your players may have inadvertently caused the entity's doom to increase, most often by failing tests. As an entity accumulates doom, it gains new and deadly abilities. Even when the entities are losing hard, you still get to have some fun. Most entities have a unique ability which triggers when they take a lot of damage and is first broken. Think of breaking like entering a second phase in a boss fight. The entity gets to make a big attack, gain a new ability, or change how it fights. There's a lot of inspiration here from MMORPGs with huge set-piece combats. We've got monsters that light up the grid with threat and slowly spin to create areas hunters have to avoid, others that tie characters together with needles and string to slow them down, and even one that summons a train through the grid to take hunters down with massive damage. And what if you lose? Well, the game is not meant to be easy, it's meant to be very hard. Each fight balances on a knife edge between victory and defeat. The GM has tools to dial difficulty up and down, as do players if they want to, but most importantly, if a hunter dies, they gain corruption, which makes them stronger, unlocks new ways to play, and also incidentally brings them closer to the grand malignancies, the dark gods that rule the Isles and warp its people. If you're the kind of GM who's always wanted to TPK your players, this is your moment to shine. Not only is it one of you versus 4 or so of them, but also you're actively encouraged to make the monster as hard as possible to kill. You can get out all those miniatures from other games, create a horror story around one of them, stick it in the centre of this grid, and try really hard to defeat your players in a game of skill, tactics, and luck, knowing that whoever wins, the player characters get stronger, just in different ways. Once the boss is defeated, the hollow ends, and you get to go back to your refuge, a sort of interdimensional sanctuary that's open just to you and your mates. You can rest and recover there, but you can also use the materials you've brought back from your exploits to upgrade your home and unlock new abilities, from better weapons to new ways to reduce corruption and more. This is also the place other characters might come to call home. The lords you've saved from their torment, now shells of their former selves, burdened with regret and committed to helping put the world to rights alongside you. And that's your mission as hunters. Your benefactors keep feeding you with enough cash to survive, and a steady stream of new hollows that need your attention. There's a wider world, Cities, forests, the people who work the fields, the crown clinging to power, the pig preachers with their religion of rot, the normal people who don't hunt and can't see the peril the Isles are really in. Eventually, over a campaign, you might manage to do real damage to the malignancies, to turn the tide against them. Or you might succumb to the malignancies yourself, turning inwards, rotting like a peach till you sit monstrous at the centre of your own hollow, waiting for your friends to come and kill you. It's up to you. If you want to see Hollows in play, you can go to our YouTube channel and watch some of us fight through the Sins of Grisham Priory, our quick start campaign. Or download it and have a go yourself. Good luck, Hunter.